Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, this is your first time seeing my face. My name is Brittany. I read and I review books, and of course, by the title, you see that I am here with another book review. And if you've been here before, welcome back. So, jumping straight into it, I am here to review the book called For the Woman Painted Purple by Davonie Green. And I really hope I'm saying your name right, Davonie. I that was my bad. I should have asked. But yeah, this book was a really quick and fun read. I kind of just want to give a quick summary without giving away too much about what this book was about. So the main point of the book and the whole plot is that it's following these four women who are in a group therapy. They're in group therapy for different reasons. So some of the reasons, and I'll talk a little bit more about them, are for they are being abused by their partner, whether that's sexually or domestic violence, and some of them are just kind of trying to figure out what's their next move, should they stay in this relationship, should they not, that kind of thing. So they're going about, they're building relationships, they're forming bonds, they're talking about all the things that are a problem, and all of a sudden the men that they're involved with literally start dying, and it's like somebody's killing them, right? And so the whole point of the book, it's like a mystery thriller kind of thing to see who is this person that's basically having their back. It's like the person knows what their partners are doing and has decided to just take matters into their own hands and get rid of them, right? So they call the person the vigilante in the book. Let me jump into my likes of all the things that I liked about this book. Number one, so Davonie Green, if you can see her at the back of the book right here, she is a Caribbean, specifically Jamaican woman author. So that's always great to have somebody who's an author that represents where you're from. I've said this a few times in different books. I am from Trinidad, so reading a book by someone who is from the Caribbean is always good and relatable content. So that's right off the bat. Loved that about the book. The book has a prologue, which was just a couple pages before chapter one, that kind of gives you a very quick, it's like a page and let's just say 2 pages that was describing the vigilante that I mentioned before, taking care of one of the people that needed to be taken care of, right? It was I think it was actually a really good way to start the book, because it started off being extremely engaging and you wanted to know what's going on, who is this vigilante. So I really like that that was the first intro, as opposed to just kind of jumping into the story and building up. The suspense was there from the very beginning. I also liked that there were different points of views in the book, as always. It wouldn't be a review from me if I didn't say that. I've said that probably 100 times already. But I liked that. So one of the characters was Brenda. She was kind of the main character. There's also a police officer, Mr. Woodley, who he had a good chunk of it. So you got a good mix of people surrounding this mystery, not just one person, which is good. I also like that there are certain points in the book where, so if I just hold up the book, you could probably see that there's a page divide right here, and some of those were kind of abrupt, and then it went to a whole different person or a whole different scene, and for me, I thought that was kind of cool, because it kind of reminded me of how a movie would kind of just stop and then you go to a whole different scene. So if that might not be fun for everyone, but I kind of like that. I put that in my likes section. It is short, so the book is overall 221 pages. So ideally, and it's really thin. It's thinner than your normal book. So this could be a quick weekend read. This could be a quick vacation read, a flight read, a road trip read, It's really up to you, but it is short and it's engaging and thrilling the whole time. There's not really like points where I'm just like, oh, this is like so slow. Like let's move this along. Like I think the suspense and the level of energy like kept the same throughout the whole book. Um, I liked that I kind of like predicted and knew who the vigilante was by a certain point, and I think probably people might be able to do the same, especially because there's only but so many characters. Like there's a few women that are called by name in the therapy group, and then there's a couple police officers. So there's only but so many you can choose from. So it's kind of fun to like pick who you think is the vigilante, and then at the end you get to see like who it actually was. So that was fun. And then I loved the end. So I'm not gonna reveal the end. I'm not gonna reveal who's the vigilante, of course, because this is a spoiler-free review. But I have talked about this in a previous video of just like when an author like kind of like leaves a book like unfinished. I'm just like, end the book in a good way for us, please. Like wrap it up with a nice bow. And I feel like this book did that. And so I'm very happy about the way that it ended. I was pleasantly surprised. I felt like it was a very good end. Okay, so those are my likes. My dislikes, I only have one, which is very, like, that's great. My dislike is I feel like some parts of the book could have been a little bit more like slow or like built out. So for example, so in the book, there's the main character, like I said, her name is Brenda. And there's a part of the book where like her and her husband like end up like being at odds and they, have to separate. And something happens where she has to go to the police station and like make a report and do all of this. And so the person that she made the report to was one of the main police officers, who was Mr. Woodley, like I mentioned. And I just feel like within like a few days, all of a sudden, like Brenda and Mr. Woodley are like locked in and they're like in love, and like, it just seemed like they were going on a date already. And like, granted, that stuff could potentially happen, right? Like in real life, like life comes at you fast and people move on pretty quickly. But for me, I was just like, oh, like we could have spent a little bit more time like building out like the suspense and the things. And there were a couple other parts too where it just went from like hair to hair super fast. So my personal preference would have been like for it to be built out a little bit more, but at the end of the day, this is Miss Green's book and she can do whatever she wants with it. It didn't take away from the book too much, in my opinion. I also like that there was like some like Jamaican patois in there as well, like, again, tying back to my first point of being Caribbean and just liking the relatability of it all, right? Okay, so the themes are kind of intense. So I want to just give like a quick disclaimer for like, if any of these themes I'm about to mention like are trigger points for you, then you might not want to read this book. But again, it's not like too much in detail where you might not be able to finish the book. It's just like overall things that are mentioned that you should just be wary of. So the first one, of course, like there's the concept of like revenge, and like some of the revenge that is happening is like, it's like kind of borderline like on torture kind of vibe. Mainly in the prologue that I was telling you about, not really like throughout the book where it's like constantly like, oh my god, this is a lot. So if like reading that type of stuff might be a bit too much for you, just be wary. Like I said, there is mention of SA, sexual abuse. There's mention of domestic violence, and then like specifically domestic violence like within in Jamaica. And so it mentions like, it's like a real problem. And I also like, I guess I could put that in my likes of like, it's a thriller and it's a mystery and it's like a easy, quick read, but it's also like bringing awareness to something that people might not really know about. So yeah, I just found a bonus like in the middle of talking about the themes. And then the last theme I would say is just like the whole concept of like therapy, group therapy, the power of therapy, the power of like having like a sisterhood and like a group to like go and talk things out and kind of like figure out where you want to go from like a bad situation that you have, which is like always, that's a great theme to like discuss and talk about, especially for like Black women or Caribbean women. So I thought that that was very, very cool. And with that being said, that's my spoiler free review of For the Woman Painted Purple. I I'm still trying to figure out if I want to give it like 3.5, 4 stars, but like overall this is a really good read. I would recommend it, especially like I said, if you are going, if you want like a quick weekend read, or like if you're like in between books and don't really know like what you want to read next. This is like a good like filler, like quick, not too much to like be invested in. So yeah, I highly recommend picking up For the Woman Painted Purple. You can get it on Amazon. And let me know. The book is still fairly new. It was published literally this year. So I'm not sure how many people have already read this, but let me know if you're interested in reading it. And if on the off chance that you have read it, or probably you're seeing this video later on, let me know in the comments if you were able to figure out who the vigilante is and what were your thoughts on just the overall flow of the book, your favorite parts, all that good stuff. Before you leave, don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, right? If you want to see some more book reviews, send this or share this with someone that you know loves reading books or is trying to get back into reading books. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.